So today I want to talk to myself about shadow work. So shadow work, I think, is something I didn't actually start doing until 2018, which is interesting because I started meditating around like 17, 18 years old, and yoga and sound healing came a little bit after that. And shadow work was something that is very easy to graze over in the Western world, because it yoga and meditation is marketed as this. I'm trying to make sure I say this right without it being triggering, but it's marketed as this like rainbows and butterflies, and we love everyone, and you never feel shitty, you always feel good, and like it's a cure-all. And even though I do agree that yoga and meditation help me with anger management, it's helped me with childhood trauma, it's helped me with a lot of repressed emotions and feelings and desires, I also feel that when things would come up where I was ashamed of decisions I had made, choices I had made, or things that I had done, not knowing how to navigate that part was confusing, because it's like, I don't want to look at that, I don't want to see that. And not only did I not want to look at it and see it, I was ashamed. I'm ashamed. I'm not showing it love. Because again, that's not my program. With us living in like this 3D realm or dual consciousness, everything is always split with good and bad, especially in the Western society. That is our society. My normal dialogue, that's just unconsciously, I'll be like, oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I literally say that, and I'm laughing because it's something that I do need to work on, kind of shifting, where I don't split things hot, cold, good, bad, up, down. But it is a part, it's how this realm is created, by being in dual consciousness. So for me, when I think of shadow work, at first I thought it was acknowledge it, become aware of it, so you can get rid of it. Right? Still thinking that there's something wrong with that part of me that I push down, and that I ignore, and that I hide, and that I repress. Still thinking, still sending it unloving thoughts, still sending it shame, still sending it guilt. Even while out in meditation, even in yoga, like seeing it and wanting to get rid of it, not wanting it to be a part of me, not understanding that shadow work is integrating that with the light, acknowledging it, becoming aware of it. So not only you are able to work on your shadow, but so that you can accept it and love it in a way that now that you are doing that, you understand why the shadow exists. So for example, something that I've struggled with, and that I still struggle with, but that I work on, is anger. Like just being angry at the way the world is, shit that happens, why is this happening, injustice, things being hidden, lied to, history being changed. We can go down the rabbit hole with that, but we won't. So obviously your girl be getting angry, okay? And for so long it's been like, I don't want to be seen as the angry black woman. I want to be bigger than that, right? I don't want things to bother me. I want to maintain my cool, within chaos. And although there's nothing wrong with that, it's nothing wrong with want to be cool and collected in a chaotic environment. It's dope. I'm like trying to be all zenned out. My shit's popping off. I'm good. It ain't bothering me. But coming to terms with, if it does bother me, that is okay too, because that is a part of my spiritual journey. Your spiritual journey is not just feeling rainbows and butterflies and feeling good all the time and, oh wow, this was amazing, this was transcendent, and oh my gosh, I had so many downloads, and it's like, that's cool, but the real practice is when you're in the nitty gritty of it. The real practice is when shit comes up and you're screaming and you're crying, because that means that you're releasing it. Not in a way of like, it's never going to happen again, but you're releasing the emotion and the trauma connected to that thing that you're repressing. And so learning that shadow work has to do with acceptance and love as well. Accepting and loving the parts of you that you're ashamed of, the parts of you that you're guilty of, the parts of you that you don't understand, the parts of you that society would hate, the parts of you that would be attacked. Once we start to actually not so much give in to our shadow, but more so bring it into the light, talk to people, seek help, because shadow can be an addiction. You can be addicted to something, right? You can be addicted to something that's harming you or harming someone else. If you hide it, you're giving it a chance to fester in the darkness. But if you bring it into the light, you start talking to people about it, you get educated on it, you find, self-help groups or professionals, family members. You seek out help. Now, granted, I know this isn't a perfect world. There are certain people that might have certain things that they feel like they have no one to go to get help. But I think that when we start to have these conversations with ourselves, then we start to have these conversations with other people. We will not evolve as a human race if we can't even just sit and listen to someone when they're asking us for help. So, especially when it comes to something that they're dealing with when it comes to shadow work. So I say all this because most people haven't started their journey on their shadow work. They have started their spiritual journey, but when you start to do shadow work, challenging is not even the correct word. I don't even know what word to describe it, because shit get real. You'll start having things come up ancestral that you have no control over. Stuff that's just in your DNA that's coming out, that you're pulling out. You'll have things coming up from when you were in a womb, childhood, present. You'll even maybe have stuff coming up that haven't happened yet. Desires that you're afraid to act out because you feel like there's something wrong with you, or it's something that's not accepted or frowned upon, etc., etc. So I say this: if you are starting your shadow work journey and you notice, I acknowledge this first, send it love and forgive it. Forgive myself. Send it love, accept it, and forgive myself. And see where that gets you. And maybe you can't tell the world, maybe you can't tell everybody, but start by having conversations with your tribe, having conversations with people that you do love and that hold space for you, and letting them know what your shadow is, or what you're working on within your shadow. Start to go ahead have conversations about it. If you don't feel comfortable yet, if you don't have anyone in your space to talk to, I would say first by acknowledging it, by writing it down. This is what I see come up. This is what I'm dealing with. And I think that working on your shadow and working on loving the part of you that no one else loves is going to help you love the parts of other people that nobody else loves. So it's still connected to unconditional love, y'all. It's still connected. You see what I did there?